there, Partha is there, and Madhava is there. So it's definitely gonna win. And here you will see that he actually mentioned Divya Shankho. So when even Bhishma Pitama blow his Shankha, it wasn't mentioned that he blow a Divya Shankha. But here he's saying Madhava Pandavaschaiva Divya Shankho Padamnite. So they actually blow the Divya Shankha. So that's again, superiorize them. That they are on a transcendental because they're supporting Dharma. And they actually blowing the Divya Shankha. So they're going to be the winner, basically, he's trying to say. So we will read the translation or purport. Sorry, can someone read purport? We will read the translation, right? Amit, can you read the translation?
Yeah, purport or translation?
The translation, the
on the other side?
Yeah.
On the other side, both Lord Krishna and Arjuna, stationed on a great chariot drawn by white horses, sounded their transcendental concerts.
Purport?
In the contrast with the conch blown by the Bhishmadeva, the conch shells in the hands of Krishna and Arjuna are described as transcendental. The sounding of the transcendental conch shells indicated that there was no hope of victory for the other side because Krishna was on the side of the Pandavas. Jastu Pandu Putranam Yesham Pakshe Janardana. Victory is always with the person like the sons of Pandu because Lord Krishna is associated with them. And wherever the Lord is present, the goddess of fortune is also there because the goddess of fortune never lives alone without her husband. Therefore, the victory and fortune were awaiting Arjuna, as indicated by the transcendental sound produced by the conch shell of Vishnu or Lord Krishna. Besides that, the chariot on which both the friends were seated had been donated by Agni, the fire god, to Arjuna, and he indicated that his chariot was capable of conquering all sides wherever it was drawn over the three words.
Text 15. Panchajanyam Hrishikeshu Devadabdam Dhananjaya Mondram Dharmo Mahasangam Bhima Vikodaya. So here you can see that he again addressed Krishna as a Rishikesh. That Krishna, the Lord who directs the senses of the devotees. So Krishna blew the Panchajanya Shankha. So there is a story that that Panchajanya was a demon who was residing in that Shankha. So when Krishna killed that demon, he actually get that Shankha, and then Krishna used as his own Shankha since then. And Arjun's Shankha name was Devadattam, and he been addressed as a Dhananjaya. So there is another story that when Maharaj Yudhishthira was needed to perform a yajna, but he doesn't have much of the wealth. So Arjuna by the guidance of Krishna told him that if you go that place, that one king actually gives so much of donation to the Brahmana. So he actually give the food to the Brahmana in a golden plate, and then at the same time he gave so much of the Sona Mahor, the golden coins and things like that, and the jewelries, the Brahmana couldn't carry. Even the Brahmana started taking everything, but then they just throw some of the items, or at least they throw all the dishes because it's okay, we already eaten in here, we got so many other gold, so they just throw all the dishes, gold dishes there. And then Krishna knew where it was, so Krishna told Arjuna that you go there and you bring it. So Arjuna went and bring all the golds from there, and maybe some other items as well, as far as I know. That's how he bring the wealth. That's why he's been addressed as Dhananjaya. He brings the wealth for Maharaj Yudhishthira. Then Pondram Dadmo Mahashankham. So Bhim's Sankha has been addressed as Mahasankha because Bhim is, himself was very big. So his Sankha must be big as well. So Bhima Karma Vrukodara. So means he was performing the like a very, very huge task. Prabhupada translated as a Herculean task. So any big demons, he need to fight, he go and fight them, And then Vrukodara means he with a very big udara. He eats a lot. So there is some lessons learned here is that if you eating too much, if you let's say if your udara is big like Bhima, if you eating too much it's fine. But at the same time you should perform those activities as well, which is really big as well. Not just eating and making your big bellies. If you eat more that's fine, but use it for Krishna's service, Eat more and then do more service. If you can't do service, then just filling the belly and big tummy is not a good idea. That's what I think someone mentioned in here, and I think Chaitanya Prabhu was also mentioning. So Bhima Karma is saying, doing that task. So once, when Dhritarashtra and all the Kaurava actually sent Pandavas to that Lakshagra. So when the Vidura kind of found that it was Lakshagra, and he actually told Yudhishthira Maharaj, or sent, I don't know whether he told personally, because I have two different stories, whether once he's saying, he told his Maharaj Yudhishthira when he was leaving that house is Lakshagra, so make arrangement to get out. Someone say he sent a Duta. If you see Mahabharata series, he actually sent some Duta to go and tell them that this is the case. But in whatever the case is, so when they actually fled out of, they dig out the underground tunnel, and when they fled, and it was a night time, because when they leave it was a night time and it was very dense jungle there. So while they were walking through the jungle, a lot of jari and very dense jungle, so everyone was struggling, And then Bhima noticed that, including Maharani Kunti, everyone was struggling. So Bhima, what he did, he put all of them on his body. He said, two brothers here, and his mother was on the corner, and he ran throughout the jungle. So that's how powerful he was. So he was eating more, but he was at the same time he was doing the activity like that. He was so powerful. And on other case, when Draupadi actually just been win over by Arjuna from that Swayamvar, then when she came, first thing she, then she teaching all the kitchen rules, and she say, whatever meal you make two parts first, one part and the other parts. And from the other parts, you then divide by 6. And this is how comes that? She explains that this half part was purely for Bhima. And the other 6 is, for Pandavas and you and me. So that's the other 6. So that's how much Bhima used to eat. And at the same time, you can see he used to do that all the Herculean tasks as well. So that's the lesson we can learn. Okay, we will go to the next one. Ananta Vijayam Raja Kunti Putra Yudhishthirah Nakula Sahadevascha Subhosha Manipushpako Paramisvasa Sikham Hicha Maharatha Drishtam No Viratascha Satyakischa Parachita Drupado Draupadeyascha Sarvasha Prithivipate Sobhadascha Mahabahu Shankhan Dadmum Prithaktha. I think we will read translation first and then we will describe.
King Yudhishthira, the son of Kunti, blew his conscience. The Ananta Vijaya and Nakula and Sahadeva blew the Sughosha and Mani Pushpaka. That great Akar, the king of Kashi, the great fighter Sikhandi, Drashtadyumna, Virata, the unconquerable Satyaki, Draupada, the son of Draupadi, and the other, O king, such as the mighty arm, son of Subhadra, all blew their respective concerts.
So there are few points coming up. So now he actually, after addressing Krishna and Arjuna and Bhima, because those, if you notice that those three was the main character for fighting, and they actually fight over most of the opposite party, and they Krishna guided Arjuna, he destroyed most of it, and Bhima especially. So after that, even though Yudhishthira was the king on the other side, he know the position of the personality, and he accordingly put it. Yeah, Yudhishthira just come and go, and it doesn't really distinguish between. But here Sanjaya knows the position of each and everyone, so he put it everyone in order. So Yudhishthira blew the Ananta Vijaya Shankha, and Nakula and Sahadev, Sughosh and Mani Pushpaka. That two Shankha that they blow, and then he says all the others. Most of them was already also addressed by Duryodhana, and he is being addressed again. The one thing you will notice here, and actually also Duryodhana also mentioned the same way, is in this verse, the three verses together, but in verses there are three mentions of the warrior that are addressed as the son of a mother, right? Kunti Putro, which is Yudhishthira, Draupadaya Deyasya, which is the sons of Draupadi, and Subhadrasya, the son of Subhadra. What it states, what it proves. See, so it proves that there was a very good respect and regard for the woman in the society. And a lot of Yodha, Kunti Putra, even Arjuna doing it as a Kunti Putra, and everyone. Krishna is addressed as Yasudanandan, Devakinandan. So it wasn't like that they only addressed by the father and woman doesn't have importance. Woman has their place and importance. Obviously, woman wasn't allowed to go on the battlefield because they has to be always protected. So when the girl is little, she has to be protected by father. When she is young, she has to be protected by her husband. When she is elder, she will be protected by her elder son as per the Vedic system. Now elder son sort of goes away. Try to skip. I don't know whether it's true everywhere or just in Gujarat, I don't know. But generally, as soon as they get married, they just try to get out. So, so all the responsibility will just follow on the younger son. And nowadays, even younger son doesn't care too much about it. But Vedic system wasn't like that. They always take care. So with the woman, she was always protected. Not like that. She used to live as a single woman and just completely depend on centrelings, payments, and there is no respect or anything because she doesn't feel that someone is there to look after her. So she feels unprotected basically here, even though they're getting the free payment, but still. She has to live in the big house alone with no protection, with 2-3 children. It's difficult, isn't it? So it's not freedom. It's actually more binding, which is being taken as a freedom. Just in the name of freedom, it's actually a lot of bandhan. Actually, what do you say? Bindings, not.
It's an illusion. It's illusion of happiness.
See in here, boy and girl say, okay, we like each other, they start staying together, and as soon as the boy knows that she's pregnant, then he'll just run away and he wouldn't pick up her phone. Then she'll be left alone for herself to going through the pregnancy, giving birth to the child, and then as soon as child will come, she wouldn't know whether her husband will be happy to put his name as his father, or sometimes children, father, I think if father doesn't allow, then they just choose some random names. Is it? Does anyone knows about it? I think there is some rules around it. But anyway, not to go to details. But in the Vedic systems, the human was always protected. And it was more freedom there than it is now, because here it's completely dependent on the system and the society. As soon as that collapses, then everything is gone. So that's one thing. And here you notice that Sanjay actually addressed Dhritarashtra as a Prithivipate, because he was the king of Hastinapur. The last verse is verse 18, the first lines, Prithivipate. Everyone got it? Prithivipate, you can see, the king of the whole world. Prithvi is the whole world. So which again confirm that the king of Hastinapur was ruling pretty much the whole world at the time. Any comments, questions?
If in this context, if a person don't have son,
Yes.
so how to protect by this? Suppose
Then they'll be taken care by their
uncle.
uncle's son. In this case, Pandu was already died. So Bhishma Pitama and suppose Dhritarashtra is supposed to be taking care of them. So they take care of them till they become young and claim their kingdom back.
Yeah, I'm
But
talking
by the
about-
time they was already young. But when they was little children, they was being taken care of.
Yeah, I'm talking about this plane where we are living. If I don't have son,
Yeah.
so what is the position of
See, that's the actually drawback of the modern
mom.
society. It's all look nice and good as long as you got everything in the right place. But as soon as one thing miss out, then everything collapses. In Vedic system, there was always, if one thing is not there, there is always other way to take care of that. And people in general was educated that way, that it's their duty, because the Vedic civilization was based on a duty. So everyone will think, what is my duty? So all the people come for the fighting there, even though there's many yoddhas was on the side of adharma, like
protect?
on the side of Mr. Duryodhana. But even though they doesn't like to be there on their side, including Bhishma and Drona, they fight on their side because they feel that it was their duty to fight from that side. So they wouldn't go against the duty. But if we notice, the current civilization is completely based on the rights, including the law and order and jurisdiction systems. That one person say, okay, it was my right, it is your individual right to do this. For example, we can give something that right on a, I can't remember actually the exact.
I have
So
one example.
if I born in as Austrians, then I got a right to receive the central payment, I got a right to do that. Doesn't matter whether government go in a bankruptcy, it doesn't have any money, still people will just go and keep asking. Say, and then everything, little bit things happen here to there, they'll just blame the government all the time. Why government doesn't do that for us? Why government is doing that? Why government is doing that? There's nothing in anywhere in the Western society that what is my duty toward the society, what is my duty toward the king or the government. It's always about my. It's all about what is my right. I'll try to take as much as I can from wherever I can for my own sense gratification. I wouldn't do my duty, the two boy and girl attracted and they left each other. Who is gonna pay for it? Government. Obviously, government is actually very biggest burden for governments to raise the children in Western countries. Yeah. Few years ago, I was wondering why they allow, or so many immigrants, why they can't just let the Australians, just create more and more children and support that somehow. And then I noticed that it's just not possible. It's impossible because because it requires so much of time and resources to raise them, to feed them, to send them to school. A lot of children are orphaned, they doesn't have any parents. So much of money. If they just import some immigrants, they are straight away come and start working and pay the government. See how beneficial it is. So that's why they follow the system. So all I'm trying to say is, it's all about people asking, what is there for me, what is there for me, what is there for me. But Vedic system wasn't there, wasn't like that. It doesn't blame others, saying, what is my duty in this particular time and such and such, what I am supposed to do. Not blaming others, okay, why you haven't done that, why you haven't done that. And like Bhishma and Drona, obviously they make a very big mistakes. But no one come and tell them that, hey, you shouldn't do that. Even Krishna doesn't tell them till they inquire themselves. Like Krishna say, why I have to go through all this? And then Krishna says, because of this and this. Like that. But generally, everyone's life is
own duty.
Life is kind of governed by their own principles. And they, rather than blaming others what they supposed to do, they only thinking what they supposed to do. But now, right now, even though I make mistake, I somehow or other, if I can transfer the blame to someone else, I'll try my best. So it's completely, it's very degraded condition actually. See that way. It's not that nice.
Girls can also look after their parents. No boys are there.
See, in Kali Yuga there is no system which is working perfectly. So yeah, obviously, if boy doesn't look after, and if girls has a capability, and her family allows, she should.
Sound to leave you now. What about care? So he looked telling you.
Okay. We'll just see the last one verse and then we'll stop. Okay. Shagosho Datarashranam Radayani Vyadarayat Navascharuti Vincheva Tumulokya Lunadayat. Translation Malti Mataji.
The glowing of these different concepts become uproarious, vibrating both in the sky and on the earth. It shattered the hearts of the son of Dhritarashtra.
When Bhishma and the others on the side of Duryodhana blew their respective conch shells, there was no heartbreaking on the part of Pandavas. Such occurrences are not mentioned. But in this particular verse, it is mentioned that heart of sons of Dhritarashtra was shattered by the sounds vibrated by Pandavas party. This is due to Pandavas and their confidence in Lord Krishna. One who takes shelter of Supreme Lord has nothing to fear. Even in the midst of the greatest calamity.
So here, if you notice, in the previous verse, Sanjaya mentioned 3 Yodhas by their mother's name. Yes. In this verse, he mentioned Dhatarashranam. So he mentioned all the 100 sons of Dhritarashtra as Dhritarashtra's son, because he knows that Gandhari was a very chastised woman. So he doesn't wanted to mention the dharmic son of Dhritarashtra addressed as a Gandhari's son. Even though it was Gandhari's son, like in other words, he says Subhadra's son, because the character was very nice and the children was nice too. Here Gandhari's character is very nice, but again her children are really bad. So they say Dhritarashtra is bad, so let me mention his name because his son. because his sons is like Dhritarashtra himself. So that's why he's mentioning Dhritarashtra rather than Gandhari there. So that's why this Bhagavad Gita is so perfectly, so every personality has so precisely mentioned everything, so precise that it's amazing how how it's flowing. So I think most of the addressing will be finished, and one more verse, and then Arjuna will start speaking. And then from 25th verse, Krishna speaks, but it's still mentioned under Shanya's line that he is mentioning that Krishna spoke like that. So it still hasn't come Krishna Vacha, Bhagavan Vacha. But Krishna started speaking from verse 25. So hopefully from next week we will have the real Bhagavad Gita start, where Krishna starts speaking. Arjuna's question will be there, and then Krishna starts speaking. Then the real melody will start. So thank you so much
But
for your concern.
this line is very attractive.
Right?
One who takes shelter of the supreme law
Yeah,
has nothing to fear.
yeah.
Even in the great mist, even in the great
Greatest
mist of the
calamity.
greatest calamity.
You
This-
see,
This one is very, very.
in the Mahabharata, if we go through each character thoroughly, it is, you can see so much calamity that come on Arjuna. While he was fighting, opposition army was pretty much everyone comes together and attacking Arjuna in many instances. And Arjuna single-handedly, sometimes he was completely blown out with so many people attacking him, but somehow or other he still get out of it. Because Krishna was always there to protect him. So that's very good point.
That's
Krishna take care of his devotee.
Yatra Yogeshwar Krishna.
Yes. Okay, thank you so much. We will proceed for Aarti now.
Very nice one. Well done.
Srila Prabhupada ki jai.